Hey, what's going on, guys? So, like over the weekend that passed, I went to go see Superman. I actually seen it on Friday, and you know, it was James Gunn Superman, really. My thoughts on it's like this. Um, it made me miss the Man of Steel. It stars David Coleman Sweat as Superman and Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, of course. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, I really couldn't connect with the Superman. Really, I miss the Henry Cavill Superman, and even with that, you know, um, and even with that, when the Man of Steel came out, there was people that they wasn't really crazy about the Man of Steel also because it was a more darker version of Superman. But I would say I related to the Man of Steel because especially with Clark Kent's character, he was trying to find himself. It was like a version of the Batman Begins trilogy and stuff, but it did. There were things about it that I liked. There was things about it that it had its flaws, but I would say that it was a better picture than the James Gunn version. You know, but what in this version, Superman is in the present. This is not an origin story, really, and the beginning of the scene, he lands on in Antarctica and stuff, and he got beaten by the hammer of Barovia, which happened to be Ultraman, and he gets picked. He gets dragged by his dog on Crypto, and they went to the Fortress of Solitude, and then he get charged up through the sun, and he fights him again and stuff. But Lex Luthor in the movie, Lex Luthor wanna kill Superman. He's jealous of him and stuff like that. So it was like to a point where he breaks into this fortress of solitude and wants to gain access of info on Superman. So he digs up his the recording of his parents. They left him a message, and it and in the movie it was like in this version the parents wanted him to take over the conquer. It was like in the second half of the message. Superman wasn't aware of it, but they retrieved it and stuff like that. Lex Luthor, I mean, and yeah, his parents urged him to conquer Earth and take as many lives as needed to restore the Kryptonian race. Yeah, I didn't really caught on to all that stuff. At first, I thought it was at first I thought that it was something that Lex made up, to make him look bad. But but that was the thing and stuff. And yeah, it did had a lineup. It had Guy Gardner, who played Guy Gardner. I think Nathan Fillion. You probably know him from what's that he played somebody in like I forgot, but he been in some movies and he been in some TV shows. But Yeah, Mr. Terrific was there too. He's yeah, he's like the DC version of Tony Stark's. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I did miss the Man of Steel, bro. Even when that came out, people, it didn't reach the standard of the Christopher Reeves standard. And even when Christopher Reeves was Superman, I enjoyed one and two. That was the best Superman out of all of them, really. Three and four was trash to me, you know. Yeah, but yeah, but that was that was the standard. And Henry Cavill didn't have that. People felt that he didn't really have that standard of Christopher Reeves. I mean, but it did hit. There were things that it hit home for me. You know, him trying to waver to save humankind from General Zod, and you know, um, they did had Supergirl at the end, and Supergirl was played by Millie Alcock, and she will have a spinoff in 2026. In the movie, she's drunk and she came. Yeah, she came at the end and all that type of stuff. So yeah, I ain't really got too much to talk about. Just gave my little thoughts on the Superman movie, and I'm gonna leave you with this. This is I forgot this girl's name. Lane Feeney, Laney Feeney, and she's a cosplay. She's into Supergirl and stuff. So